And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast as our NBA team previews continue. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us. Truly appreciate you do. Please make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff to go ahead and be part of what we're doing right here at the Lakers Fast Break. But today's team that we're covering today is a team that the Lakers know oh so well over the past few seasons. The rivalry, I guess, for lack of a better term, or the closest thing in today's NBA for the Lakers is the NBA rivalry, because the Celtics Lakers thing, the shine has come off a little bit, just not there. So who do the Lakers turn to for a rivalry? The Clippers? Not quite as of yet. Maybe someday, but for now, it is the team in the Rocky Mountains, none other than the Denver Nuggets, who, with Nikola Jokic, as I've said before in conversations, undoubtedly the best player of the decade. And I don't think it's close. And obviously, what's around him, look about as far as what we can see is maybe another run to the title. And here today to discuss that team, he's a good man indeed. He's been on the show before, and I'm glad to welcome him back. A guy with great insight on his shows, the Player Caller Sports Talk Show, that whole channel right there for you that he does, including his eye on what I do as well as far as on my off time. We talk about wrestling at his show, Monarchs of Wrestling. He does his great job there, and also the NFC Beast podcast, and also as well, he's an Eagles fan as well. He's riding high because he had the Nuggets one year, and now he has the Eagles next. It's Cool McCain. Cool, great to have you back on the program.
I appreciate you having me, man. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I mean, just a high after high. You get the Nuggets not too long ago. You get the Eagles recently. So all is well in the McCain household as you head towards possibly a very good season for both upcoming. But of course, that's for an NFL podcast down the line. And as far as the NBA, Denver, they were so close to going ahead and upending the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, as I will speak to in regards to Indiana. So close, 7-game series with Oklahoma City Thunder, but it wasn't quite to be, as they had to watch OKC go on and win the championship. But they didn't stand pat. Cool. They made changes this summer that has a lot of people very interested, to say the least. It looks like, from all appearances, that they're loading up for a playoff run, a very good season run, but their eye is keenly on returning back to the NBA Finals. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year we learned, and this is something that, kind of been a problem for us the 2 years after winning the championship, and that you have to have depth. And, we were looking on the roster, and this is something a lot of fans, including myself, have been saying. Michael Porter Jr. has to go because we can free up a lot of money with him. We can find other guys, not that he doesn't have a good skill set or he's not a good player, but he's a guy that you can find other guys at a lower price that can do similar to what he does. And once the organization kind of came to that, I feel like their realization and said, okay, we do need to make that move, and decided to make that move. I think things got a lot better this offseason. That's why we kind of had, the higher expectations. And of course, you have to talk about Jonas Valanciunas and that situation as well. I mean, you don't have an NBA contract and then you want to leave and go play for another league for a little bit less, and then you don't go to your team and say, hey, I want to leave, and then the team that you're getting traded to, this just doesn't work. You can't make that move. And Jonas fell out the hard way that, we're not in for that. Other thing is, the team overseas thought that he had already discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were kind of like, oh, once they realized that he didn't talk with his last team or us about that, he just decided that on his own. It was kind of like, you got to get out of your contract. And Denver rightfully so. It's like, no, you're going to be our backup center. We're not letting you out of the contract. We're not going to do that. So we finally have a viable backup for Jokic. And I was thinking the whole time, like, Valanciunas, why would you want to leave a team that's going to have a great opportunity to win a championship and go play for a team in another league for not a lot more money? So if we're talking about we're going to pay him $5 million, they were going to pay him like $20 million, I get it, but not a lot more money. So yeah, you always have a little something that comes up. But if that's the worst thing that Denver has this offseason, I think we'll be in really good shape.
There you go. Absolutely. Because over the summer, you sent MPJ, Michael Porter Jr., to Brooklyn and got back Cam Johnson. But it also did something else, like you talked about. Depth was something that I had talked about previously with you, but also with one of my fellow hosts, Magic Man Sean Grice. We actually talked about before the season. We went back and forth on the air in regards to your depth on that team. And I thought that was a big stumbling block for your team at that time. And he was kind of like on the other way. He thought your depth was fine, and it proved out to be the depth would be an issue. So I'm not going to say that this year. Depth is something that you've really, your front office really has addressed. Jonas Valanciunas, again, after the whole issue aside, as far as the wanting to go overseas, but unfortunately, sorry, you got a contract that you have to adhere to. So he is here, and if he gives you, and if he is in the right mindset, he could provide you really strong backup center minutes. You've got Bruce Brown, and the resurrection of Bruce Brown, as I said on the air over the summer, can only come via the hands of Nikola Jokic. If Nikola Jokic can't get Bruce Brown to a level anywhere near what he was in the finals run, then you can start with the Bruce Brown is washed stuff right there for you. Because of, I think, Nikola Jokic brings out the best in a lot of players as far as being able to make players better and make players more able to succeed. And I think that's one of his best qualities. And Bruce Brown, we should see if he's evidence with that and be able to refocus his career. And then also as well, Tim Hardaway Jr. on the minimum. I know that Dallas fans had their ups and downs with THJ, but again, in his role, it's not as needed. Just come in, try to get on a hot streak, and there you go. But if he doesn't work out or he's not playing up to what you need him to play, you have other assets around you. You have other players around you that are able to do different things. But the progression of Christian Braun, I think, or Christian Brown, has to go noticed by us, because Christian Brown's development is a big key to this team going far, much farther than what it even did last season. Cool.
Yeah, well, Bruce Brown was a very pivotal piece for us winning a championship because of his versatility. He can play point guard, shooting guard, small forward. He played even power forward at times for us in the small lineups. So he's a guy that you can put in several different positions, a very versatile piece. And he parlayed that into, $40 million over 2 years. He doesn't fit into one position. That's the thing. And we're a team that, we talk about the NBA being a positionless league, but we're truly a positionless team. You've got Jokic at center when he's playing. You've got Murray at point guard when he's playing. Other than that, everybody else does have some versatility. And Murray could play shooting guard offensively, but defensively is kind of where you get the problem if you want to move him to shooting guard. So Christian Brown fills that role that we needed, that starting caliber shooting guard on a rookie deal, so we don't have to worry about paying him as of yet. We'll get to that when we get to it. Another reason why we needed to get rid of Michael Porter Jr., unfortunately, is, you got to open up some cap space.
Yes.
Adding Cameron Johnson. Cam Johnson, I'm a big UNC fan. So Cam Johnson is a guy, he can shoot. He'll give you some effort on defense. If there's one thing I'd say about Michael Porter Jr. was he did not always give the best effort on the defensive side of the ball. I think Cam Johnson is going to give you more there, and he will pass and drive, and he'll fit into the free-flowing offense that Denver likes to play, I feel like, better than Michael Porter Jr. A lot of times that ball went in Michael Porter Jr.'s hands, and hot or not, it was going to the rim. So I think Camel has a better understanding, a better basketball IQ at this point in his career. It's been in the league longer, so that's expected. But he'll move the ball. He'll help make the plays, and find the open guys like Aaron Gordon and Jokic will do, as well as you know Murray. And I think Christian Brown and Bruce Brown, when they're in the game with those guys, are going to benefit greatly from a lot of just going to the rim and playing their game and getting opportunities. Christian Brown and Nikola Jokic, a lot of people don't know this. They were, I think, the second or the third um, pair ranked in assists from Jokic to Brown in all of the NBA last year. So you add Bruce Brown back to that, and we're looking at, you add Tim Hardaway Jr., who there'll be times where he'll play more. There'll be times where he'll play less depending on how he's playing. You got Julian Strother in the midst. He hasn't really, to this point, shown like he's NBA ready. But, you've got the camp, you've got this season. The one reason why I think Mike Malone ended up essentially getting fired, he didn't develop the young guys. And on a championship team where you're having to pay guys because you win, if you're not going to help your young guys develop, then it's not going to work out for you. And people want to say, "Oh, Christian Brown." Mike Malone didn't develop Christian Brown. Christian Brown had to play. That's how he developed. Yeah. And other guys didn't play. We didn't see a lot of Peyton Watson. We didn't see a lot of Hunter Tyson. We didn't see a lot of Julian Strother. Even in games where, Jalen Pickett as well. There's a lot of guys we just didn't see that were young guys drafted to this team. And, you kind of had to, and I understand why we fired the head coach and the GM. They didn't work together. The GM wanted to do one way. The head coach wanted to do one way. They didn't come.
It got ugly, cool. It got
really nasty. And the only way to fix it really was to fire both of them. And I don't even know why we waited so long. I felt like it should have been done earlier. Because if you're not going to be on the same page and you're not going to help the team win, then why are you here? And, that's just something that, it was unprofessional. It probably hurt the team more than it helped the team. But we've gotten past that. Now we've got a coach that understands what's wanted. And that's the big thing. And we need the coach and whoever is going to be the GM, they have to be on the same page. So if you don't have those guys working together, you can't fix your team. And that's kind of what happened to us last year. But now we've got that back. Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is a guy that, man, I can't say enough about Aaron Gordon. We talk about Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Bruce Brown, these other guys. A guy that has been there the entire time, that hasn't had the injuries, that's been playing since he came here, is Aaron Gordon. And Aaron Gordon, to me, because of how much he's played, has been the second most important nugget on our team since he arrived. Because you remember Jamal Murray missed the year with the injury, Michael Porter Jr. with the back, in and out. But Aaron Gordon was always there playing, always making the big threes, always hustling, getting the rebounds. When no one else is there to catch those passes from Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon will be there to do it. So to me, he's been the second most important player. And if we don't have him, we may not have a championship. I know we talk about other guys, and he doesn't get as much fanfare because he's more of a quiet guy. But if you watch the games, even the games that you see that come on TV, because I don't expect everybody to go and dig and watch all Denver games, but if you watch the games that are on TV and you watch Aaron Gordon, you watch the way he plays, you see this guy is a very pivotal part of the team. Again, a versatile guy. You can put him at the three if you have a big lineup. You want to go Valanciunas, Jokic, and Gordon. You can do that this year, because you now have another solid big. So this is another very versatile guy. Does not get the praise that he deserves for what he does and what he brings to the team. And then of course we don't need to talk about Jamal Murray or Nikola Jokic. We know what they are. Jamal Murray, I don't think will ever be an all-star guard just because the era he plays in. But if you want to talk about a guy right below those and a guy that can come on for a half in the playoffs and catch fire, that's Jamal Murray. The thing is, you want that to be the second half because that's when you need him the most. If he's out in the first half making a couple of shots, distributing the ball, doing those things, that's fine. But when that third and fourth quarter gets there, You want Jamal Murray playing the best basketball that Jamal Murray can play.
Once again, it is Cool McCain back on with us here at the Lakers Fast Break, covering the Denver Nuggets. And the way Christian Braun has improved upon his game obviously makes it the key for the Denver Nuggets. And of course, Jamal Murray, one of the best type of player to have, who, yes, he has never made an all-star team, but in the playoffs, he's usually ready to go ahead and perform at a different level. Which is what you want out of players, where they're not regular season players. They peak when you need them the most. Around Nikola Jokic, and I know that there's some small speculation there, and I keep telling my audience, don't. Nikola Jokic is not making himself available. He is either doing one of two things. He is signing a extension next year for $80 million more than what he would have been offered or could have been offered this year. Or B, he's just going to go back, retire, go back overseas and run his horses. Because we see he's more happy when his horse wins than when he wins. It's amazing to see. It's so funny that is. But Nikola Jokic, I think that, I don't. Anybody in Denver or any Denver Nuggets fan doesn't have to worry about Nikola Jokic leaving anytime soon, unless it is like to retire to be with his horses. Because I just don't see it happening that he's going to be anywhere else. But as you know, as long as he doesn't sign an extension, there's still those little birds out there that want to go ahead and still peep out there about Nikola Jokic going somewhere, the Lakers or wherever. But I seriously doubt that will ever happen.
There's always going to be those guys, right? There's always going to be people that, even if he signs, they're like, oh, he signs, but he's going to want to get traded because he wants to play with Luka, or he wants to play with this guy, or he wants to play on this team. And the thing is, I think he's made it clear that he wants to be a Nugget. He's had input into guys that we brought in. He's had input as to who's the head coach. He's the face of the organization. Everybody understands that. And he's not going to be leaving and going anywhere. I don't think he's retiring either. I think he's just waiting. He's letting everything else play itself out, seeing what's there financially after they kind of take care of everybody else. Because this is not a guy that has a mansion in LA or Miami or New York, and he's out flossing and flexing and popping bottles and doing all those things, right? This is a guy that makes his money, goes home, plays with his horses and on his farm. So this is a guy that, everybody's saying, oh, Jokic is going to sign for the maximum amount he can. Perhaps that's what he wants. But at the end of the day, I'm sure he wants to win. When you hear him talk, even when he wins MVP, he talks about the team. He doesn't talk about him. So I think it's more of, as long as we're in a position to win and I can help this team win, I want to be on this team and I want to help this team win. When this team can no longer win, when you get up against the cap where it's like, we can't win as currently constructed, we may have to, rebuild. I think that's the time, whenever that is, that we'll see Jokic say, you know what, maybe I want to step away. But I don't anticipate him leaving to retirement or to go to another team after the season. It's just a matter, I'll go ahead and play out this deal. Let's see what we need to make happen. Because, Christian Braun, you might want to go ahead and get him done a little bit early, see what those numbers look like, see other guys that may be coming up for renewals for contracts, what they're going to get paid, what's going to be available, how much the cap is going to increase, from year to year, because it's been kind of skyrocketing. So it's been helping them guys be able to keep their players. So I don't think it's necessarily about the money with Jokic. I think it's necessarily about having the best team around me to win. And if I need to give up a little bit of money for that to happen, I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. And again, I think that I would be remiss without saying that, again, the Nuggets look very good, very strong, especially for the fact that they looked like a team on paper that's primed for more of a run in the postseason. But they are still going to have a very strong season overall. I just think that at some point in time, they're just going to be cruising. They're just going to be, winning a lot of games. I do think a top 3 seed is very much in the marketplace for them as far as in the Western Conference, but it's not vital for them if they are not the number 1 seed, but just somewhere along the lines of where they can go ahead and really do some damage in the postseason. But with all that said, with the team that you have constructed, plus maybe one or two of the young guys could actually try and break through too. Hunter Tyson, Julian Strother, Peyton Watson. I know that in at least one of those players that's been hopeful that you guys want to be able to have him break out. Jalen Pickett, those guys. One of those guys hopefully will break out. Zeke Naji, I don't think that's going to ever happen with them, but it is.
I don't know why we
there.
even paid Naji. I don't move.
Exactly. So with that, with who you have on the roster, let's say everything goes as well as expected. Where do you see them ending up?
Raising the trophy, man. I think if everybody stays healthy, this is a team that can raise a trophy. Okay. Our problem the last 2 years, Achilles heel, since we won our championship, has been the bench. That's been the problem. Jamal Murray, I honestly think I love Russell Westbrook, but I was definitely against that move. And I feel like there were a couple of games where you could say, "Oh, Russell won the game for," but there's many more times where you can say Russ took a lot of ill timed shots.
Welcome to the Russell Westbrook roller coaster ride that I know all too well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I when we got him, I said I'm not necessarily happy about that move. Like I said, I'm not saying that he's not a great player and that he never was a top player, but we have a free-flowing style of offense. Like the ball needs to go to who's open. And just because you're open, if you're not hot, make that last pass to get somebody else who, maybe at the rim or maybe, in a shooting zone, the ball. And the IQ that we play with, I think, was just different from how Russell sees the game. Not better or worse, but just different. If everybody else is kind of playing one way, you're seeing a guy open, you're swinging the ball, and then the ball gets halfway there, and you're like, oh, fudge. Russ about to shoot this. We got to crash. Like, that can be a little difficult. So to kind of have that going and kind of I look at it like this. We replaced Russell Westbrook with Bruce Brown. We also brought in Cam Johnson. We also brought in Tim Hardaway Jr. as a guy who we're not looking at Hardaway, honestly, to be a pivotal piece, but a guy that can come in when needed and play. If other guys don't, like if Julian Strother as a backup shooting guard just doesn't get the job done, Tim Hardaway Jr. is there. But if Julian Strother does what he needs to do, we may see less of Tim Hardaway Jr. In a perfect world, what I'd like to see throughout the season is Jalen Pickett, Julian Strother, Peyton Watson, Hunter Tyson, all these guys, Jalen Pickett, all these guys play more minutes because we're either blowing teams out or we're getting blown out and we know we're not going to be able to come back. Or we say, if we're going to come back, you guys are going to bring us back in this game. There are going to be games where we're going to be up big and we're going to be able to get guys in. Maybe you don't sub everyone out, but you get some of your guys out and let some of these young guys get in and get experience. If you want to win in the playoffs, we showed when we won. Boston showed when they won. OKC showed when they won. If you're going to win a championship, you have to have depth. And you don't necessarily have to have the same 2 or 3 guys step up every game, but you have to have depth. So in order to have depth, these young guys have got to get the minutes that they never got under Malone. And that's going to have to happen during the regular season. The dog days, the long seasons, the long games, those games that, we may be playing teams that we do really well against and we normally, beat them pretty badly. Instead of having the same guys continue to play, you have to get the young guys in. You save your veterans, so if they have to play more in the playoffs, they're not as worn down. You can't get injured if you're not playing. So if guys are sitting down, they can't get injured. So that's going to be the pivotal piece, even if everyone stays healthy, on if we can make a run or not. How deep we are. The depth is going to come from the coaching staff saying we got to get these young guys in, or these guys that have been around for a couple of years but haven't really got an opportunity. But we also have to balance that with our veteran guys and having them go in and do what they need to do and making the right substitutions. There may be times where you take Brown out, you put Strother in, you put Pickett in. You say, okay, let's put those guys in, let's see what they do. There may be times where you put Pickett in at a point, Strother in at shooting guard, but you keep Johnson, Gordon, and Jokic, because if you have Jokic on the floor, you have another ball handler. So if Pickett's not, delivering the ball properly or the way that the offense needs it to, you have Jokic that can do that. So you've got to get them opportunities. You've got to get them in-game experience. You've got to get them reps. You've got to get them confidence. You've got to get their understanding of how to play with the rest of the team together if you're going to make that run. We can't make the run with 5 or 6 guys. We tried that the last 2 years, and we saw how that turned out. Got to have depth.
Got to have depth indeed. And as a team who I think helped themselves a little bit in the depth department, but still has a long way to go there, the Los Angeles Lakers, I think, need certain things still to their roster. But with Luka possibly competing against Nikola Jokic for an MVP this upcoming season, a lot of people have talked about what kind of great season him or the Lakers could have. But as always, I do ask my guests that to come on and do these team reports to go ahead and share their thoughts on the Lakers this season, because I always look for an honest perspective and be honest with you as well. I don't see the Lakers bursting through that top 3 as expected, unless a lot of things go right for the Lakers. I do see them somewhere just behind that mix. But be that as the case, you may see things differently. So I'd love to hear your thoughts before we leave today on where you think the Lakers will be.
So the thing about the Lakers is you have, Luka, you have LeBron, right? I think a pivotal piece a lot of people are discounting is Bronny. Bronny's not going to be the player that his dad is. He's not. But you have other guys on your team that are smaller combo guards, right? Like a Marcus Smart, a guy that can help him learn how to play. A Gabe Vincent, right? Guys that can be there and kind of help him learn how to be that chippy defender, that guy that makes shots, help him get his confidence up and make plays. He doesn't have to be a starter. And I think that's what everybody is. If Bronny James came into the draft and he was not LeBron James' son, obviously he probably wouldn't have came the year he came. I thought that was a bad move just because of the heart condition and him not really being able to play that season. So I think last year was really his first year actually playing a full season of basketball since high school. And a lot of people, don't think about that. So I think this year we're going to see a little bit better version of Bronny when he's in the game. He dominated in the G League. He was really good in Summer League. So these opportunities he's had, he's showing, hey, maybe I'm not quite where I need to be as a pro yet, but I'm better than these other guys that are attempting to be pros. So I think there's a role for him, with dad or not, even if LeBron's retires in a year or two, if Bronny carves himself out as a defensive specialist, a guy that's a 3-and-D player that can make plays as a passer and work on defense, he's going to have a role on the team, whatever team that is, whether that's the Lakers or somebody else. My question for the Lakers is Luka and LeBron together, because both of these are ball dominant guys. And I know people say, oh, well, LeBron will, acquiesce to Luka. Yeah, he will at times. But in clutch moments, who's going to be the guy, right? Who's going to be that one guy? You can use one as a decoy, of course. You did the same thing kind of with AD and LeBron. There were times where, AD may have had a good game, so they were focusing on AD and LeBron, got the last shot. You can kind of do the same thing. But both of these guys like the ball in their hand. AD didn't really like the ball in his hand, so that's why that kind of worked. A lot of teams have questions at center. Right, you guys got DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, Maxi Kleber. We know how the team feels about Jackson Hayes. They just wouldn't play him at the end of the year last year. So I'm kind of questioning why you even brought him back unless you feel like he can learn from Maxi Kleber and DeAndre Ayton.
As am I, my friend. As am I.
Depth's a problem for everybody, but you kind of look at the Lakers. You got Gabe Vincent. He's a solid backup. He's another guy, kind of like Bronny. He's not the explosive scorer, but he can shoot. He's explosive off the bounce. He makes up for it. He's tenacious. Same thing with Marcus Smart. You've got guys that kind of play that style as bench guys. So that's going to make you more difficult. Guys like Dalton Connect. Rui's, I like Rui a lot. I'm actually a big Rui guy. I think Rui has a definite role on the team, a definite starter. And then Jared Vanderbilt, up and down, but defensively he gives you a lot. So you guys have some depth. Now, the problem is some of that depth is not offensively offensively blessed, we'll say. So there may be times where you'll have to shake up your lineups. It's going to all be on JJ Redick. If Reddick's able to kind of milk things together, I've coached AAU basketball before. I've coached little kids basketball before. So it's about looking at what you have and saying, how can we make it work? Maybe this is the five that starts, but as we get a little bit into the game, maybe I need to take this person out and put this person in with this lineup because this person plays really good on defense, but they don't score. This person, Luka, is not going to play a lot of the defensive end historically. Maybe he comes out with a new attitude with you guys, but historically, he's not done a lot defensively. So if you're going to play him, you have to get a guy that's going to be a defensive dog in that game with him to kind of pick up that slack. So it's about JJ using the pieces that you have correctly. Austin Reeves is going to be Austin Reeves. Rui's going to be Rui. LeBron's going to be LeBron. Luka's going to be Luka. DeAndre Ayton and the bench is where it's kind of questionable. Is Marcus Smart still the guy he was 2 or 3 years ago? Is Vincent ever going to be as good as he was in Miami outside of Miami? Will Vanderbilt have a better shot selection? Because we know what he does defensively, but will he have a better shot selection and be more aggressive in the places where he feels comfortable this year? Those are all going to be questions for the Lakers. I feel like the Lakers are definitely a playoff team. I feel like they're definitely a team that's going to be fighting for home court and not the play-in when we get to the end of the season. But just what you get out of Ayton, because it's going to be important for Ayton to have some dominance. Ayton's going to only go up against a handful of actual centers that you would look and say he's probably better than Ayton. Outside of that, Ayton needs to make sure he's putting in work against everybody else, and at least making it difficult for those guys.
Absolutely. Definitely a key to this season, indeed, for the Lakers. You hit it right on the head there. Once again, it is Cool McCain. Please go ahead and support all those different outlets, which he is going to name here in a second. So again, before we out, I always ask my guests to go ahead and give the cheap plug, as I call it, for places that they need to go ahead. Our audience need to go ahead and check out what you're doing because you do such a great job on all your different venues. So before we head on out, please go ahead and let us know exactly where they can find Cool McCain at.
Well, man, absolutely. So we've got the NFC Beast. You can find that on my Eagles Elite channel at Eagles Elite podcast on YouTube. Also, Eagles Elite show is there. That's actually every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Basically been going through all the games for the preseason. We've gotten through all that. Now we're here at the regular season. Cowboys game 1. We'll be previewing every game and then reviewing the game from the previous week. After we get past week 1, we'll be talking about news and notes that have happened, in anything big in the league, but specifically anything about the Eagles. We'll be finishing up top 100 thoughts this week. Also, Play Callers Sports Talk. That's at Real Play Callers on YouTube as well. There you can see the Monarchs of Wrestling show that Gerald pointed out earlier. That's Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I had to think for a second. And then NFC Beast is on Saturdays. Don't quote me, but I believe that is at 9 p.m. But if you do subscribe on Eagles Elite, you'll get the notification in case that time does need to change. I've also been covering the American Arena League 2. Shout out to those guys as kind of their podcast guys. So I've been doing some podcasts with them all the way up through the championship game. You can find that stuff on the Play Callers channel as well. You can also find me popping up and doing content on the Shady Sports Network YouTube page, and that's at Shady Sports Network. If you go to my link tree, Linktree is kind of funny, but if you go to Linktree and you search for Cool McCain, it'll bring me up. And I have listed all the shows, their times, and their days there on Linktree as well. But if you do follow me on, especially on Facebook, it's just Cool McCain. Then I do post there when all my shows are starting, and some different things that are happening. So a lot of different places, guys. There's some of them, a lot of different places. just focus on trying to do good content, get it out to you guys, and enjoy talking sports.
There you go, indeed. And again, pro wrestling as well. Let's not forget that, especially with what's going on in the WWE, All Elite Wrestling, that contentious battle per se, plus also everything going on in the world of pro wrestling as well. Please go ahead and check out, starting with the Monarchs of Wrestling, and of course, all the different venues for sports that you can find Cool McCain at playcallersportstalk.com. Of course, also as well, the NFC Beast podcast, Eagles Elite, and more. It is Cool McCain. Cool. Always great to have you on. I'd like to invite you back during the course of the season to get an update as far as the Nuggets, who I still think will be a thorn in the side of the Lakers once again this year.
Let's hope so.
I will say much success to you, continued success to you and everything you're doing. And I'd love to have you back on again during the season to catch up.
You know where to find me, man.
Sounds good, my friend. Once again, Cool McCain. Thanks again, Cool. Truly appreciate it. And thanks for everyone out there for watching, listening. And don't forget, I have more NBA team previews on the way for you right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.